Okay? You're writing this down.
Yes, notes.
Okay? Now, what is the difference between this one and the 6-2? Who remembers what I said? Kat?
This one is like a butterfly defense. The other is like each and every position.
Correct. It is like butterfly, but we are working W defense the entire time. Not only defense, but as well as offense. It is a serve receive. There are no positions. So no one has a position per se. Okay, now remember when I tell you to look across the other way and see your other teammate, you all know your position, so it's still gonna kind of be the same. So what I meant was, as it's still set up the exact same way. Setter, setter. But remember, the setter's now coming from the front row, not the back row. Okay, so instead of our first setter starting here, our first setter would be here instead. Okay, that's the only difference, right? So that means right next to her would be who? Mm-hmm. Oops. No. We could do it that way, but that's not how we're running this one. Okay, outside hitter 2, outside hitter 1, right? Or you could say the DS, it stays the same. Or middle 1 and middle 2 / libero. It looks the same, right? Except it's just kind of backwards. If we were running a 6-2, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4th rotation. But we're not running a 6-2, we're running a 4-2. Okay, so in a 4-2, the setter starts from the front row. That we know, all right? But look, you should still pay attention. Come on, we're gonna go really quick. You should still look across from you and see your opposite. If Flash looks across and doesn't see B, we are out of rotation. Okay? We've got to make sure. If Shortcake can't look across and see Sydney, we're out of rotation. Okay? If Cat can't look across, Cat can't look across and see Dumbo or Smarty, we're out of rotation. Okay? So, make sure you still use we're still using positions, but there's no positions on this, okay? We're just doing that just to set up and make sure we're in rotation. Now, how do we set this up? This is base rotation 1, okay? Base rotation 1. Let's do another one right next to it, and we'll do serve receive. Okay, serve receive 1 in a 4-2. Okay, so if we're in serve receive, how did we say? In 6-2, what would we do? We would push up the setter, right? The setter would come up here, and then we would move everybody over. But this one is 10 times easier. We always stay in W defense. So what does this need to look like? Where's Flash right now? She's in left front, right? So what does she immediately do? Push up to the net, right? We want her at the net. It's called hiding your setter. We don't want her to take volleyballs. Okay, we don't want her to immediately push out here instead, and then the ball come over and she take it and have to pass it. That defeats the whole purpose of having a setter to set it up. Okay, so we push her up to the net and hide it. Okay, so what about middle? Well, let's start with back here. Outside, you can do outside, this would be DS actually. We'd have DS here, we'd have libero here. And then our other setter, right? What about our 2 other players? Remember, they're setting up for more like a triangle. okay? And it stays like that, it stays like a W. So they set up more like a triangle, and we still use what? We still use short, right, deep, left. Okay? We have to still use short, right, deep, left. That a little bit better. Okay? Right. So now, what about the other players? What about middle hitter? Where does she go? She's right here right now. She's right here. Where does she back up to? Down. Down. That's all it looks like. Ta-da! Okay. Makes a W. So now middle hitter pushes back, outside hitter pushes back, and we now have, well, upside down, it looks like an N, right? But we're looking at it from the net. Okay, so it's technically a W. Okay? That's rotation 1. And that's rotation 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's all the same. Okay? So now, middle and outside are responsible for this whole area. So if you are in the front row, ladies, pay attention, and that ball comes in front of you, what do we do with it? We send it to their back row immediately. Okay? Because at this age, we're still trying to learn how to pass that close to the net, and we have to end higher. And we've been working on that, but we're having a little trouble, right? So just to save us time and to get used to this, ball comes in the front row, we send it immediately. Ball goes to the back row, middle goes to hit, outside goes to hit. And then bump, set, hit. The setter immediately after the serve runs to set. Okay? It's kind of messy, sorry. All right, now let's talk about rotation 2. Draw 2 more positions. Or 2 more courts. We're only going to go 1 through 3, so we're only going to do 2 more rotations because it's the same all the way around. Did y'all have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes.
You did? I had a great Thanksgiving, thank you. I didn't do much of anything except hang with family. Pretty fun. Okay, so serve, receive, 2. Rotation. So base rotation 2. What does base rotation 2 look like? We'll say base 2. Base rotation 2. Okay? Where's my setter now? Cat.
The setter is now.
Setter 1.
Yeah, setter 1 is now middle front.
Yep. Okay, we always start the setter. Across from the other setter is the second setter. Okay. This would now be the DS. This would now be the outside. Right? We don't really pay attention too much on positions, but we'll do our best. All right. So now what do we do? How would we do this? Cat?
Like, what do you mean by how would we do this?
Well, let's say this is base rotation, and we need to go into serve receive rotation. We always start with who? So what does the setter do?
So the setter pushes up to the net.
Okay.
The middle back goes on the, in between the DS and...
Middle back or middle front?
Middle front goes between the DS and the center 2. And then outside hitter goes between libero and...
Good. So when written, it should look just like this. Let's say libero, center 2, DS, and then middle 1, outside 1. Same thing, W. Okay? Now, what we have to be careful with is the setter. Okay? When the setter's right here, can the outside, if the setter doesn't push all the way where she needs to, let's say the setter sits right here and outside decides to move over directly in between them, and she's on the other side, we are what?
Out of rotation.
We're out of rotation. So let's make sure that we watch the setter, and setters, you're where you need to be so your defense and your offense can get into position. Okay? And it still keeps the whole line down. When the ball comes over, setter just slightly moves, outside hitter goes to hit, middle goes to hit, and we do the same thing we always do. The ball comes in the front row. Outside hitter and middle hitter will do what with the ball?
Send it over.
Back row. We'll send it to the back row, right? That means back here, these three people are doing short right, deep left, short right, deep left, short right, deep left. And they have three main positions to cover. Short, deep, and short. Short, and we just did this earlier, deep and short. Short, deep, and short. Y'all remember doing that earlier?
Yes. Yeah.
We had the dots there?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna keep doing that until everyone understands whose ball is whose at all times.
Here it is.
Oh, thank you.
Who's over this black backpack?
hiding from me. Okay, last rotation, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Miss Shortcake, why don't you come over here and draw out for your team what it looks like. I want you to draw out base rotation. And we're on the last rotation, right? So we're on base rotation 3. And then next to it, I want you to also draw, and girls, y'all are gonna help her make sure this is right. I want you to also draw serve receive 3. Okay? Here you go. I'll let you know.